Guys, how are we? I'm here with Kiinde tonight, and I have an awesome special guest with us tonight from Spectra Baby USA. Hello, how are you? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Mirani Dye. I'm an international board certified lactation consultant, and I'm with Spectra Baby USA, and I'm super excited to talk to your audience tonight and talk about tongue tie. And I know so many parents worry about that, so I hope I can help answer some questions. My other work that I do here in Florida is I'm a lecturer with Florida State University on maternal and child health. So it's something I get a lot of questions about. So I hope that I'll be able to ask and ask your audience what they're concerned about.
Awesome. Thank you, Marinine. Yes, so we have an amazing IBCLC here with us tonight from Spectra Baby USA. So we will we'll talk about our Spectra pumps. We'll talk about the connection of Spectra to Kiinde, which is super awesome. We'll do some giveaways, and then we'll answer as many questions as we can tonight on ties. So lip ties, tongue ties, what are they? What do we do about them? So we were joined a couple weeks ago with Dr. Paulson, who is a dentist, and so she helped kind of understand the procedural with the ties. So, but before you usually go to the procedure, you're usually seeing lactation, and that's where someone like Marinine would come in as an international board certified lactation consultant to kind of see what's going on before you're referred to someone like Dr. Paulson, being a dentist or oral specialist of some sort. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I have the Spectra S1 Bedazzled. So this was my baby shower gift when I was at Spectra, and it is my favorite pump. The Spectra S1. This is what it looks like plain. But this is their S1. Then there's of course, the S1 and S2. We'll have the S2 that we're going to give away. Our S1 is going to be the blue one, which has a built-in battery. But the S2 is the exact same except pink, and then just has wall plug-in. So if Marinine, you want to kind of tell us about this Spectra pump and its amazing features. It's secretively one of my favorites.
I'll tell you, when I was working for the WIC program here in Florida, these pumps first started getting popular a few years ago. And I would always ask my clients, please bring your pump in with you to your appointment. And they started bringing in this adorable little pump, and I was just mesmerized by it. And I, in a small community, had not had a chance to see them. And let me tell you, these pumps were so wildly popular, I just had to know more about it. It's, first of all, just the size and weight is just new generation, next level in terms of pumps. It's absolutely easy to carry around, especially the S1, which is rechargeable, so it's very, very easy to carry around. The S2, exactly the same, just needs to be plugged into the wall when you're using it. But both ideally, the same in terms of their features. One of the things that moms really like about it is the digital display, which I know is a little hard to see here on Facebook. But basically, it has the two modes in terms of massage mode when you first get started, really mimicking the natural behavior of the infant. So it really is very, very close to natural breastfeeding for the mom. And that's why a lot of moms like it, because it really does mimic that natural infant behavior. So getting the massage mode going really mimics that. It gets the letdown going, and then mom can switch it to expression mode, where she can really adjust it to a number of vacuum levels and speeds to her comfort. There is no one size fits all. We do get questions sometimes of what's the best number to be on, and the best number is whatever you're getting milk at and whatever is comfortable, because everybody responds to different number combinations. One feature that moms just absolutely love is the
nightlight. It's my favorite. It's like my bedside nightlight. Like, I don't think I'll ever get rid of it.
It is, and you can pump without waking the entire family up in the middle of the night, and including yourself.
Yes, partners love that.
Yeah, and of course it does work on single. You can use it as a single expression or double. Of course, if you're an exclusive pumper, we like to see you using it in double expression mode, but some moms don't pump every single time. Maybe they pump a few times a day. They nurse on one side, pump on the other. So it's very versatile. And that's why it's just become, one of the most popular consumer brand pumps. And I'm just so excited to be with Spectra and help promote breastfeeding and extended breastfeeding for moms and make it easier for them for sure.
Yes, for sure. So guys, like she was saying, the Spectra pump, it just has so many great features, whether you're going back to work or traveling. I have to say my Spectra pump has gone on like probably 200 plane trips, and it's still, I've had this my little one will be 3 in August. So I've had it, 3 years, and it has been there through the long haul. I feel like it's my baby. But yeah, it has just so many great features, as far as the actual comfort level, but then the convenience level features of night light and lightweight and stuff like that. So, and of course, this is my ice cream holder back here. I'll put a cup of ice cream and so, who needs to put a bottle in there, right?
Good idea.
So guys, don't forget to tag your friends and post below, share this on your timeline for extra chances for our giveaway. We are going to announce, so everyone, we kind of talked, we had something to announce to you guys, and we have 2 things to announce. One, we are launching tonight, right now, our Kiinde community, and that's Kiinde community with a K. And so we have started this group that we want all of our moms to go right now and search Kiinde community and ask to join. You just have to answer 1 or 2 questions, join. And so you guys, after, we have these bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, we jump on and we talk to our moms. And the biggest kind of feedback we got was that our moms had no place afterwards to go and talk, to go and ask questions, to go and get support. And from mom to mom, as well as from our team of lactation consultants. So we've created this group, so please go join it tonight. We have another big giveaway going on in there as well tonight to kick it off. And we have an entire team of CLCs and IBCLCs who can help you with any questions. And your moms, it takes a village. And we've, unfortunately, in our society started to lose that village. But here at Kiinde, we really want to make sure that we keep that community in Kiinde. So that's what we're here for, and we're going to launch that tonight, as well as we've started an affiliate program. So you can join Team Kiinde, so a second group, Team Kiinde, and that you can, for all the referrals you do, you can earn money to either buy more Kiinde bags or to just earn some extra cash for referrals to other moms on our products. So Kiinde Community and Team Kiinde, we're launching those tonight. We're super excited. Join those 2 Facebook pages. And for all the people that guessed on what we were doing tonight, we heard all of your feedback. And we have lots more to come. A lot of the things you suggested, we already have in the works. So stay tuned for the rest of the year as we launch a bunch of new products and new features on our systems. So going into kind of some questions here. Well, one of the things actually let's talk about. So with the Kiinde pump, with the Spectra pump, we have our backflow protector, right, which attaches to our shields. And then Spectra has their duckbill valves that you attach onto the bottom. So this is all Spectra parts here attached to the pump. With Kiinde, we have an adapter. And this adapter comes in our starter pack. And we're actually giving one out to every mom that joined us tonight free. Yes, completely free, along, just have to pay $6 shipping. But so you're going to get one of these. And so there's the link below. Go ahead and click that now. Get yours today. And I'll show you what's in here. But one thing that's in here is the adapters for Spectra. So you just screw it right on. Boom. And then screw this on. And there you go. You can pump right into the bags with the Spectra pump. So that is using Spectra with Kiinde. Super awesome. And so in this starter pack here, we have you'll get 1 bottle holder, 1 nipple, which comes in a case, and then 2 standard neck adapters, and then your 2 Spectra adapters. There's also 2 coupons in here. One is going to be for 40 free pouches. And then our second coupon, which is my favorite coupon, is 50% off our entire gift set. So it retails $99.99, but with this half off, it makes it $49.99. So you're going to get our warmer, our storage rack, all of our bottles, nipples, everything. And so if you see here, you will just pop the bag into the bottle and the nipple right on and feed directly from it. So super easy, convenient. These are recyclable afterwards. You can put food, breast milk, formula, whatever you're needing for your baby, your little ones. So moving right on, I guess we can kind of go, if anybody has questions on lip and tongue tie, we'd love to answer those tonight. And we had a couple questions already. So where are my questions? One was, is it true that all newborns are born with some sort of lip tie? Marinine, can you answer that for us tonight?
I think that's probably a pretty broad statement. Certainly a lot of moms suspect there might be something wrong with the mouth, especially if latch isn't right. The statistics is kind of more around 2%. So it's actually pretty low, but as we were talking before we started, that nobody calls the lactation consultant to tell us how great it's going. So at times it can seem like there's a lot of tongue tie or lip tie issues. I do see a lot. I've seen a lot over my career as a lactation consultant. Some are very, very subtle and didn't get caught in the hospital, or some were seen in the hospital, but nobody made the correlation of how the feeding difficulty was going to happen. So, you know, the statistic is probably vague. The estimate is 2%. The majority tends to be male. There does tend to be some genetic factors. But again, this is one of those things that it's not tracked. It's not statistically written down when the baby is at the hospital or at a home or at a birth center. So it's rather hard to track. But I can tell you that most moms that have any lip or tongue tie problem end up calling a lactation consultant or a lactation counselor at some point, because things don't go smoothly the majority of the time. There's certainly cases where babies can work past it and don't need an intervention, but a lot of babies need an intervention because mom is quite miserable during the learning curve there. So I've seen a lot over my career. There's many different degrees of it. They present very differently. I can tell you most of the time when it's caught early and corrected and the intervention is appropriate, moms and babies are really successful at breastfeeding.
Agree, 100% for sure. So one of the questions that came up is it best to go to an EMT? I think she meant ENT, or a pediatric dentist, or does it matter?
You know, I do have an opinion on this. I don't know that there's research that says one way or the other, but just in my years of referring moms, I find my favorite saying is to go with a provider who stays in their lane. So for instance, if you have a foot problem, please go to a podiatrist. If you have a mouth problem, please go to someone who specializes in the mouth. And for the majority of the time when I've referred moms and babies for a lip or tongue tie, it's to a dentist. And I've tend to see better results from that. Not to say there's not ENTs or surgeons or even pediatricians who are great at it, but the pediatric dentist specifically, they know how it's going to impact the tooth placement, the tongue placement, the oral anatomy, the speech development. They're really a little more comprehensive in my experience. So, and where I am based here in South Florida, I have a great relationship with some pediatric dentists, and that's my go-to for the families that contact me.
Awesome. So one of the questions as to the Spectra was the MAM adapters. So you can actually use your Advent Spectra adapters with MAM bottles as well. So if you wanted to, use interchangeably, you could. The nice thing is if you have a different nipple, you can attach that nipple here. So if you had a MAM nipple, you could just screw it on, or a Spectra nipple. Let's say your baby will only take the Spectra nipple. That was mine at first. So I just had to attach the Spectra nipple, bottle nipple here, and you can use your own nipple. So that's super convenient. And someone had asked which pump this is. So this is the S1. It just happens to be bedazzled. So kind of fun. But yeah, so it's a Spectra S1. And the S2 is the pink one. Looks exactly like this except pink. And that's the one we'll be giving away tonight. And it is wall plug-in. That's the only difference. than the S1. My son spits out every pacifier he can't keep in. Does lip or tongue tie have anything to do with that?
So not necessarily. So tongue tie does restrict movement of the tongue. However, sometimes a baby has a tongue thrust and it really has nothing to do with a tie. It is somewhat physiologically normal that a baby thrusts outward. That is the natural motion they need for successful breastfeeding. Some babies just don't like pacifiers in their mouth, and there is nothing physiologically wrong with that. I always think, though, if you're concerned, or if the baby starts to get older and is approaching that age of solid foods and is still doing a lot of tongue thrusting, you can always talk to your pediatrician. But when we're talking about mouth physiology, I tend to favor the speech pathologists, so the speech pathology people. They're really good with that type of that physiology of the mouth and the tongue. But I wouldn't worry so much about spitting out the pacifier. He probably likes mom better.
Yeah, very true. I was told there are 4 different types of tongue ties. How can you tell if it's a tongue tie besides it being attached to the tip of the tongue?
That's a good question. And that's one that a lot of providers actually miss or maybe don't pay as much attention to. The ones that we've seen and that are probably very easily to find on the internet, where the frenulum is attached to the very tip of the tongue and you can actually see the little string. That's pretty obvious, but a lot of the ones that end up giving us problems with breastfeeding are not attached in that way. They're attached in the back, and I'm not going to stick my finger in my mouth, but they're attached towards the back of the tongue, where the frenulum, the little string, is very, very short and tight or thick also, but in the back. And so we call that like a posterior tongue tie because it's in the back towards the posterior side. Whereas the ones that are anterior are very obvious. They're the ones that show up very instantly, give that heart-shaped appearance to the tongue when the baby tries to stick out his tongue. But the posterior is tricky because the tongue looks normal. Maybe when baby cries, it curls differently. Or doesn't extend past the gum line when you elicit the baby's reflex for trying to be hungry, like that you'll play with their lip and they won't stick out their tongue. And that's when it takes a little more investigation. And there's a very comprehensive tongue tie evaluation tool out there. It's certainly, I don't know that you would put it in 4 categories because it's varying degrees. And just because a baby has a tie at the tip doesn't mean they can't have full function. So there's a lot of different aspects that go into evaluating the tongue tie and in terms of what type of correction is needed.
For sure. Someone asked if there is a tie and it's not affecting nursing, is it okay to not have it corrected?
Yeah, I think that's totally up to the parents to make that type of informed decision. I think the thing that I've heard from the oral professionals I've talked to, like pediatric dentists, is that the tongue has to sit in a certain way in the oral cavity to help with the tooth framing and the future speech development. So while feeding might not be affected, the tooth placement and speech development might be affected later on. And at that point now, the child might be closer to age 2 and might need some early intervention if that has affected the child's speech and tooth placement. So I think that if a parent recognizes or gets told that their baby has a tongue tie, I would really keep in close contact with the baby's dentist and just keep a close eye on how everything is developing. It doesn't mean that the child is going to have trouble feeding or talking, but it's certainly worth watching because early intervention is always going to be the key and is always going to be easier for both the child and the parent.
For sure. So ultimately, there's really no age that the child, as far as starting speech therapy, if there's an issue, there's no certain age that it needs to happen by. I mean, obviously, early intervention is always key, but someone asked, like, is there a certain age? And really, at what age is it appropriate to start speech therapy? And really, what would be your take on that? Yeah.
When they try to start talking, the children develop certain ways with certain sounds. That's very predictable pattern, and they start with very hard consonants at first, mama, dada, baba. But then when they start progressing to where they need to use their tongue movements, say for T sounds and the sounds, and s, and this is when the child may have problems. So, and that's going to be somewhere between the age of 18 months to 3 years, depending on the child's development. And in many states, early intervention is usually free, accessible, very easily to resource in many, many communities through a number of programs. So it's always worth just at least checking it out and getting someone else to take a look and see how things are going.
For sure. Kelly Rice asked tonight, is there any risk ultimately of having like a laser, procedure done if, there's an issue with lip and tongue tie?
I mean, absolutely. Anytime there's a little bit of a surgical procedure, you have the risk of infection. There's the risk of scar tissue. When a correction is done, it may not be complete. It may have to be repeated. There's the risk that if it's done, usually the parent is given a set of exercises and stretches to do with the child's mouth. If those aren't done correctly, it may not heal properly or it may not resolve the problem. So certainly with any surgical, and it is a surgical procedure, even though it's almost as easy now as getting your ears pierced because
yes,
laser,
but takes 2 seconds. Yep,
it's not without risk. It's certainly not
for sure. And I know in my private practice, like I like to tell moms, like we have to kind of outweigh risk and benefit in anything you're going to do from here till your kids are, 18 years old is kind of outweigh the risk and benefit. So, if there is a lot of issues going on, again, talk to the different providers like the pediatric dentist, your pediatrician, your lactation providers. If your baby's failure to thrive, it's probably, a good idea to, the benefit of getting it done versus the risk of not being able to breastfeed, or again, same with like speech or dental teeth placement. A lot of times the benefits of it outweigh the risks. And again, not that it doesn't come with risks, but you just kind of have to outweigh those as a family and then with all your providers involved.
And even for, I've had moms over the years who were in my various programs not even breastfeeding and seeing the tongue tie, and we're talking kind of sloppy little bottle feeders, like they had trouble bottle feeding.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it impacts the child's ability to feed comfortably, and feeding is such a comfort and attachment time for children, whether it's breast or bottle. So, if it's uncomfortable for the baby, that certainly should be weighed in and factored into the decision making.
For sure. So for those joining us tonight, we're here with Spectre Baby USA. One of their IBCLC is Marinine, and we are just kind of talking lip and tongue ties right now. It's, kind of very not up and coming, but a lot of hype about it right now, I guess. And so there's a lot of questions surrounding it that we get. And so this month, we decided to take a whole month dedicated to talking about it because education is the key, right? If we have all the tools and understanding, we can be better at making the best decisions for our little ones. So we're here tonight. If you have any questions on lip tongue tie, please post them below. We'll answer here in the next half hour. We also have our Spectre pump here that we've been talking about as far as the amazing features, lightweight pump. Oh, this one doesn't have battery right now. This one, night light and massage mode, gentle suckling action, only 3 pounds, super lightweight. So lots of great features. And best part that we like here at Kiinde is that you can adapt your Spectre pump directly to our system. Of course, along with many other pumps that we have adapters for, but we're featuring our Spectre pump tonight. And so great feature, you can pump right into it and then pop our bottle or our bags into our bottle and feed directly if you need to feed baby, or just add that cap and store the breast milk storage bag. So just featuring our products tonight. Also, the 2 things we announced was Team Kiinde and which are affiliate program. So please join our Facebook page as well as our Kiinde community. And if you go over there, we're offering a huge giveaway and a water drinking challenge over there. So go join our community and we'll keep answering some of your questions tonight. One that just popped up is, does the physician or lactation consultant assess the newborn for tongue tie before you leave the hospital?
Good question. I think it depends on the provider. I certainly have seen many, many moms over the years that show up in my office at 2 weeks postpartum and had no idea that their baby had a tongue tie. I think it's not part of the routine newborn assessment. It definitely would depend on the pediatrician, and if mom is complaining about latch or having latch issues and gets seen by a lactation consultant in the hospital, it might be seen at that time, because that would be part of our normal assessment that we do. We do look at the mouth and the tongue placement as lactation consultants. So unfortunately, it's not a standardized assessment. It's something that's going to be based on wherever you are and whomever you're under the care of.
Yeah, for sure. A really good one. Monica Garcia, how are you tonight? Her oldest daughter is almost 14 and had an initial appointment for ortho for braces yesterday. She says she may have a tongue tie and referred us to someone. Is it possible for a tongue tie to go this unnoticed for so long?
Absolutely. She probably was really great at compensating with her feeding, and her speech development was probably marginally cute and noticeable, where you didn't quite notice the little idiosyncrasies of her speech pattern. And that's not uncommon. There's actually a lot of celebrities that have slight tongue and lip ties that you can see. And the tissue is, it's very elastic. So some people can slip right through where it's not so noticeable, but at some point will impact something, either their tooth placement, their alignment of their jaw, where their tongue fits into the oral cavity. So there's some of those slight things that do get noticed years down the road, and the parents maybe had no idea, because the baby was really great at compensating either with breast or bottle and their speech development. So yeah, it definitely can happen, because there's varying degrees. It's not just black and white. It's definitely a spectrum.
Yeah, for sure. My oldest had it, and we were kind of able to work through some stuff. But as we got older, then we realized, with his speech, we end up at a speech. And so then, for us who are younger, we wanted to really just make that decision ahead of time so we didn't have to wait as long. So yeah, and surprisingly, my husband has a really bad one. And, looking back, kind of hearing his story, it's kind of like, oh, that's probably why, your mom struggled and this happened and that happened. And listening to old videos and hearing him talk, I'm like, as a provider, I'm like, oh, there it is. Like, that's probably it. It's probably from your tie. But yeah, it's very interesting to see, even adults and older children can be affected.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible. If I'm talking to someone and they have a slight speech impediment, the only thing I'm thinking is, I wonder how you managed to press.
Yeah, can you open your mouth? Can I look inside, please?
Your mother's nipples suffer during because yeah, it's terrible to be able to notice things. So, but that's a good question that someone's asking. How do we know if our babies have a tongue tie? I think most moms, the first thing they notice is pain and difficulty with latching, and that the tongue has to extend past the gum for baby to latch on well. And if baby is tongue tied and it doesn't extend, mom usually notices pain, sore nipples. Baby starts to not gain so well because he's not intaking as much as he should be. Perhaps in the newborn period, the period of jaundice sticks around a little longer because they're not intaking as much. So it kind of starts to be like a culmination of events that usually sends them to a lactation consultant who takes a peek in the mouth and says, I think I want to refer you to someone for this. So how do you know? It's usually because of a set of symptoms. I mean, you can look visually, and sometimes it's very obvious, and sometimes it's not. Like I was saying earlier in our broadcast, sometimes it's at the back of the tongue on the inside, and it's so far back in there that it's not so noticeable. So really it's looking at a set of symptoms. Is the baby feeding well? Is mom's nipples comfortable? Is the baby thriving? These are the things that we're looking for early on.
For sure. Cassandra asked 2 questions. One being, what was her first question? Is it hereditary? And then the second, can a lip tie correct itself or become less severe as the child grows? There it is.
So there is some heredity. It does tend to be more prevalent in male children, and there is some genetic factors there. In terms of it correcting itself, some people have more elastic tissue than others, and that's with every piece of tissue in our body. Some babies can have a very tight lip tie, which would be the little string that's up here underneath the top lip, anchoring it to the gum. And some babies that can stretch and not cause any problem. Their lip can flange out for breastfeeding and they don't have a lot of a problem. And some babies, it doesn't stretch much and they end up looking like David Letterman with the big space between the two front teeth because it anchored there. So it really depends on the child's elasticity of the tissue. But yeah, it can stretch and grow, and the child can kind of grow with it. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned that because like I'll see again back to like I'll see someone's mouth and their smile and I'm like, oh, okay, like okay, my personal professional, opinion to myself.
Right. A personal question to be like, did your mother have pain with that?
Yeah. Can I talk about your growth and pain? Yeah, exactly. So funny.
It's unfortunate that those of us that work with feeding, we see it a mile away. And there's so many mommies that get sent home from the hospital and nobody mentioned it or noticed it or connected it to a feeding difficulty, and these moms suffer,
Sometimes so many moms say I can't.
Or they'll give up breastfeeding altogether because it was just so horrible and they couldn't figure out why.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then, you struggle with hearing those stories, but at the same time, then I work with moms and they get it clipped or revised and they go through that revision. And then when they come back to you and they're like in tears because they're like, this is what I hoped for, why couldn't I have gotten here 6 months ago or 2 months ago or whatever. But when they finally have that latch, I've seen the face of a mom that goes from, pre-revision to post-revision, that it's like, that's why I do what I do with lip and tongue ties, because to get that feeling and that, correction done is huge for a mom. Again, you guys, also we have a question here with Janet. Let's see. Is it possible for the baby to learn how to take the breast after being bottle fed from birth? He's having his tongue released and having OT a few weeks. My goal has been to successfully breastfeed, but as mentioned, have been exclusively pumping.
That's great. Good for you. And I was actually going to say that before your question popped up, Janet, that no matter what's going on, if the mom can just protect her milk supply, we always have room to fix things. So good for you for recognizing that things weren't going so great and pumping. So that's great. You've done yourself a huge favor and your child as well. So yes, I've seen many babies. It's very interesting. Once they get the revision done, if it's done properly, it's done well, mom follows the instructions on whatever exercises the provider gives you, that they can. It's like they got given a brand new tongue and they will learn to use it. And I've seen it sounds like Brianna's seen that too. Many, many babies. I've used a few tricks here and there. Some babies catch it right away, like as soon as the tongue is clipped with a few exercises over the course of a few days, they are breastfeeding like champions. Some babies, we've used a nipple shield to transition them because they've gotten used to a bottle and they need to transition back to breast. So there's varying degrees, but I really encourage you to work with a lactation consultant locally in addition to your OT to find the best path for your baby. But if you've been protecting your milk supply, you're ahead of the game. So
yeah, that's definitely crucial. Like Marinine said, is protecting that milk supply, because we can kind of work with a lot of stuff there, but we want to make sure that milk supply stays with that pump. Are there any tricks to making breastfeeding less painful before the revision is done?
Let me tell you, that can be some pain. I've seen some moms with some pretty bad looking blisters from that gum chomping in. I've used nipple shields. I would suggest if you do use a nipple shield, make sure you're seeing a lactation consultant so that you make sure that it's being done properly and that baby's being weighed and gaining well. That can certainly help baby to be able to stay breastfeeding if mom didn't want to use a bottle. Also done cup feeding or syringe feeding, where if the appointment's in a few days, then some type of alternative feeding method is reasonable, but you wouldn't want to do it for a long period of time. But a cup feed actually forces the child to try to push his tongue down and out, so it can be helpful. If that's way too difficult, then using a medicine spoon or a syringe can be very helpful to just get feeds in the baby, let him finger feed, suck on mom or dad's finger so that he does get some comfort from the sucking without introducing the bottle. So there's a few different tricks. It kind of depends on the baby. So I'd encourage you to find a lactation consultant who can help you figure out which one is best for you.
For sure, definitely. Again, so, feel free to like and share this post. That's our biggest, we are here tonight. Just Myrneen is volunteering her time here tonight just to really help educate our moms on these. So if you have a friend, or maybe you don't even know you have a friend that needs this information tonight, share this in your breastfeeding groups, your pumping groups, your mommy groups, and go over to our Kind community. That's community with a K, and join that page and chatter there with other moms. Talk about the ups and the downs and the good and the bad. Whatever questions you might have, we're there over there as well. And again, we're here tonight talking lip and tongue ties, and as well as Spectra and Kind. So if you have any questions on our lovely Spectra pumps, we can talk through that, or our Kind system. So keep posting your questions and we'll keep answering. A little intermission break. So I have like a love for Christmas. So I'm like in Christmas pajama bottoms on the bottom. So our team posted in our story, like business on the top, Christmas on the bottom, because I'm always in the secret behind my lives is that I'm always in Christmas pajama bottoms on the bottom. So there's my secret. It's out. But that's my intermission there. Oh, Kelly. I've been exclusively pumping because baby boy had trouble. I would love to try again, but I have no idea how to get that going.
Well, Kelly, I would really refer you, of course, to see someone face-to-face, because I guess it depends on what was causing him trouble. If you suspect that maybe there was something going on with his mouth or his lip or his tongue, those things can be potentially corrected. So that could be removed. And again, if you've been able to keep a milk supply, even if it's not a full supply, if you're keeping some type of supply going, you're going to have more options to you. So it depends on the age of the baby. It depends on, what is it that's causing the trouble. But certainly I've seen, in most lactations, we've seen things that we think would never come back around. And sometimes moms and babies just totally surprise you. So I never say never, because I've seen everything from a baby who refused to nurse for 3 months and then magically latched on and nursed for 18 months, to babies with just severe tongue tie and neurological problems that managed to overcome it. So moms and babies are awesome. And I think with determination and the right amount of guidance, certainly there's always the possibility. So I really encourage you to investigate. And if you don't know of anyone in your area, you can check the Spectra Baby USA website. We do have a really great catalog of lactation consultants and CLCs that have been through our program and that are certified. So that's certainly a place to start. And always check your local hospitals, birthing centers, and providers that they might also be some guidance. But there's always, no mom ever says to herself, gosh, I wish I had stopped investigating that. I think it's something you'll always be proud of yourself for going the extra mile, even if it doesn't turn out the way you want. You're gonna feel very satisfied knowing that you explored every avenue and that you did the best for you and your baby.
Awesome, for sure. So we have a couple of products questions tonight from the Spectra. It was asked, is there an option to use the battery pack on the S2? So the Spectra S2 is pink, and then it has to be plugged into the wall. And that's the one we're giving away tonight. So to enter to win, you just like this, and post a comment below and share, and you'll be entered to win our Spectra S2. So right now we have 30 shares. I want to see in the next 20 minutes if we can double that shares. Again, our moms need this information. So share. But can there be a battery pack attachment to the S2?
So the one that we have here, both you and I both have our blue one here, which is the S2, and it has the rechargeable battery built in. The S2 needs to stay plugged in during use. So it's the same exact pump, same exact features, same exact convenience. You just need to leave it plugged in. There's many portable battery packs available on the market for any number of appliances. So as long as it's compatible, and this is just a standard plug, you know, that you would have at home, nothing fancy in terms of the plug itself. So if it's a standard battery pack that would allow for a regular plug, then sure, you can use that. But it would have to stay plugged into a power source the entire time during use.
Okay, awesome. Great to know. And it looks like Spectra posted their link for finding Spectra certified IVCLC and CLCs. So that's great. We want to link our moms with providers that can help. Cassandra, I'm going to talk a little bit more on the KIND system. I'm going to answer Danielle's question. I have that question answered. Is there any situation where you wouldn't recommend getting a lip or tongue tie revised?
As far as being a lactation consultant, my role is really to recognize and refer. It would really be up to the provider to go through the risk and benefit. I mean, I can think of a few situations where there might not be a recommendation. It might be because of the health of the infant. It might be the age, if the baby is premature. It could possibly be if baby has any bleeding disorders or concerns there, that might be something that needs to be looked at. So I think it would depend on the health of the infant. And that would be something that, you know, that the provider would go through and discuss. But under normal circumstances with a healthy full-term newborn who's having difficulties in feeding, I can't really think of many contraindications other than risk of infection or bleeding. And that would really be a case-by-case basis.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Let's get some hearts for Spectra. Let's all like, hearts, more hearts for Spectra. Thank you so much, Spectra Baby USA, for joining us tonight. Hearts for them. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. As we continue to share, I might just add another giveaway in. So keep up that sharing. So KIND system. KIND system. Sorry, I was thinking Spectra. So Cassandra asks, she is not familiar with the KIND system, so can we explain a little more? So with our KIND system, we have our twist pouches. And so these are our breast milk storage pouches, and we have our adapters. And so tonight we are offering every one of our moms a free starter pack to go ahead and try it out. Completely free. It's a $49.99 value, free. We just ask you to pay $6 shipping. Inside, when you open it up, you will find 2 sets of adapters. You'll have a narrow neck and then a wide neck. The wide neck will be able to, yay, lots of hearts for Spectra. I love it. You'll be able to screw on to your Spectra pump if this is the pump you had. You can check our website, or you can also ask below which pump you would have, and we can go ahead and confirm if your pump, if we have an adapter for. We pretty much have an adapter for every pump on the market. So, you know, if you're using your Spectra or whatever pump, you'd screw it on and pump directly into our pouch. And once you're done pumping, you would unscrew our pouch. So again, think of your, typical breast milk storage bag. That's going to be the same, except the amazingness of it is you can screw it on and no transferring from bottle to bag. And store this in, you just open it up wide here and store it flat like that in the freezer or fridge. We also have a storage rack if you want to store them flat in your own fridge for like organization. If you're like Marie Kondoing your breast milk storage bag or something, we have our storage rack. And then it snaps right into our bottle holder here, which you're going to get one of these in your starter pack. It's going to snap right in. There we go. And you unscrew that lid and you can pop the nipple right on. And I'll take this one off. So just pop it right on. We have 3 different flows: slow flow, medium, and fast. If you are breastfeeding, we are going to recommend the slow flow nipple to mimic mom's breast. And you can feed directly from it. And then when it's time to finish feeding, just give that a little rinse right inside there. Put that in the recycling. This is good to go. And that's it. This is the only thing you have to rinse. So your bottles full of sink, or your sink full of bottles, all you have to do is wash this. So super convenient. We also have a warmer system, and then we have a foodie system. You can use these same pouches with a funnel to pour baby food or your own food or smoothies. My husband even used them for his protein shakes so that I don't have to wash his cups out. So super versatile for all parts of the family there. They snap right in to use. So that is our Kiinde system. It is a direct pump, direct feed, and everything in between. So that should answer that. I'd love to have a Spectre pump. I know, isn't it the greatest? I love my Spectre pump. Oh, this one's not on, but this one. And like she had said before, so when you turn it on, it has the massage mode. When you push that 3 waves, oh, it's really high right now. And that'll mimic the baby's letdown. You turn that off and you can adjust the cycle and that vacuum independently, which I really, for me, I needed to have like a really high cycle, but I needed really low or it caused pain on my vacuum strength. So I loved being able to independently adjust these 2 controls. And then if it was night, I just turn on my night light and I get to pumping. And I don't know if you can hear, but my pump is on right now and you can barely hear it. So super quiet I work in meetings, nighttime pumping, super great. So that is our Spectre pump that we're featuring tonight. Any last questions here? About 5 more minutes and we'll start to announce some winners. So while we still have Marinine, any questions on the Spectre products or Kiinde or lip and tongue ties as we wrap that up? Any questions? How do you determine the nipple flow? My little one gets so frustrated. So ultimately, with our bottles, we recommend the slow flow. And so with that slow flow, if you're breastfeeding, it is going to mimic the breast as much as possible. So we do recommend pace feeding. So you would provide, a little milk and then tilt down and just kind of seesaw or teeter-totter that bottle so that that bottle can last about 15 to 20 minutes, the time of like a breastfeeding session. If you are providing formula, we do have like an age range that you can do, 0 to 3 months for the slow flow, 6 months for medium, and then up to a year for fast flow. But ultimately, if your baby's taking the slow flow, fine. Then we say, just stick with the slow flow because that does provide, kind of the best biological flow possible for baby. Do you have any insight on that, Marinine, as far as nipple flow?
No, but I was going to say, and exactly what you said is for babies who maybe are going back and forth between breast and bottle, the paced bottle feeding, and if you're not familiar with that term, there's some really great videos that are out there. You can check YouTube, and it's really, even if you're formula feeding, I highly recommend paced bottle feeding because, we want to avoid the dangers of overfeeding, which can be possible with a bottle. Even if it's breast milk. So we want to be able to not drown the baby with it, but hold that bottle parallel. So if your listeners aren't familiar with the paced bottle feeding idea, I really encourage you to look that up, get some videos, and practice that with your baby. And you'll be very glad that you did because it's definitely a great physiological way to bottle feed.
Awesome, for sure. What does it mean by cycle on the Spectre pump? Pull this out. Do you want to explain?
So on the pump, when you start on massage mode, it's going to start on the, and I know you can't really see my numbers here, but it's going to start on the last that you ended at the last pumping session. From there, you'll go to massage mode, which automatically goes to 70 cycles. That's really the speed. So cycle is basically the speed, if you want to think of it that way. From there, after we get our letdown going, we press the massage mode button again to go back to expression mode. And from there, we can adjust the cycle. And again, there's no right or wrong. There's no magic number. The cycle is the speed at which your milk is flowing and you're comfortable. From there, you can adjust the vacuum level, which is basically the suction. And again, that's going to be based on your comfort level and the milk flow that you want to see. There's no one set magic number. You're going to experiment with it once you find kind of your, and you won't always even necessarily be the same. You might be a certain number in the morning,
Yep.
a certain number in the evening, and you'll just kind of start to know your body and your settings. And your pump will remember where you were last, but you can always adjust that cycle, which is basically the speed. And if you think about a baby nursing, when they first latch on, they're nibbling very quickly. So that's what we call massage mode. It's the baby trying to nibble, 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 and get the milk to let down. And then once the milk lets down, it goes into a more rhythmic cycle, which that's where the mom can adjust that cycle to the speed of flow that is comfortable and productive. So that's what we mean by cycle. It's the speed in which it mimics the baby nursing.
Perfect. Yeah, for sure. Kirsty, I'm going to have our support team answer your question on how many bags, just kind of depending on your situation. And guys, remember, we have our team, here at Kiinde. You can email lc@kiinde.com. And we have a team of CLCs and IBCLCs who can answer any of your questions. And Spectra, our amazing partners there at Spectra, also have an entire team of lactation consultants that are there to answer your questions. Again, it's about getting the support. We here do not care where you go, as long as you're getting that lactation support that you need, those questions answered, whether it's here on our live, on our new Kiinde community with a K, our team Kiinde with Spectra Baby USA's team of lactation consultants, our team. We are all here to collaboratively work together to provide you all of the support you could ever want on breastfeeding, pumping, feeding, you name it, including ties. So please reach out if you have a specific question specific to your problem or your scenario or situation. And we will make sure we go through all of these tonight and get everything answered. Our team is diligently working, both Spectra and Kiinde, to answer all your questions tonight that we didn't get to answer live. We have our trivia winners we're going to announce tonight, starting with, drum roll, we have Jill Renee on Facebook. So you are our Trivia Thursday winner. Yay, congratulations, Jill. And then we have Lindsay Sinclair 13 on Instagram. So congratulations, Lindsay and Jill. Please reach out to us on our Facebook or Instagram page, and we will get you hooked up with your prize. And then Team Kiinde, we announced your winner there, so you can go there to get that. And then our Kiinde community, go there. We're giving our entire gift set, our $100 value gift set away there tonight. So head over there, join our Kiinde community, KIINDE, and then community with a K. So join our Kiinde community tonight as we launch that for another giveaway. And the best giveaway of the night, our Spectra S2 pump, is going to be Kelly Armstrong. Kelly Armstrong, woo! We are sending you a Spectra S2. So please reach out to our support team, support@kiinde.com, and we will get you hooked up with Spectra to get your brand new Spectra S2. And like I said, if we did lots of shares, I was going to give away one of our, where is that again? I just lost it. Okay, one of our gift sets. So we are going to give away, you're going to get all the adapters. So no matter what pump you have, you are going to get sets of bags, our storage rack, our warmer, our bottles, sets of our nipples, as well as our foodie starter system. So that includes everything you need to pour, make your baby food and pour it into their bags with the different pouches and different toppers. And all of that tonight, we are going to give it to the winner, Monica Garcia.
Yay!
Yay. Monica Garcia, congratulations. We are giving you a Kiinde breastfeeding gift set. So please email in to support@kiinde.com if you're one of our lucky winners, and we'll get you hooked up with all your amazing prizes. And let's see, any other last minute? So next week, we will actually be, because we're off a little bit on a week, so next month we start the good, the bad, and the ugly of breastfeeding. So we're going to get, unfortunately, no one talks a lot about the bad stuff, right? So we're going to get down and dirty with mastitis, clogged ducts, you name it, kind of the stuff that no one likes to talk about. And unfortunately, a lot of times we suffer through alone. So we're going to break some myths next week. We're going to talk. We have another IBCLC, Stephanie, joining us that will answer a lot of our questions on where to go, what to do, how to get through it. Because unfortunately, sometimes it happens. And we don't want it to discourage you from breastfeeding. But if it happens to you, we want to be there to provide you the tools. So we're going to do that starting next week and April 1st. And then the following week, we will be at JPMA here in Orlando, our entire team. And will Spectra be there?
I'll be there.
Oh, you'll be there. I get to meet you.
I'll be there.
I'll be there. I live right here, so I will be there all week. So maybe we'll come over and say hi. So we will be joining live all throughout the week of, let's see, it's the 9th, April 9th through the 13th. So we will be on and off live all week, and we get to maybe even say hi to our partners here at Spectra as we show you new products that are on the market for you guys, as well as show you our booth and some new products we have coming out. So we're super excited, and we're so thankful tonight, Marinine, for your time. And thank you so much to the whole team at Spectra Baby USA for joining us. And we will be posting our Trivia Thursday. We do that every week, and that on this Thursday, we will be giving away Spectra's very new nipple balm. So I have not even gotten to try it yet. I'm kind of excited to hear about it, but we will be giving away one of your new nipple balms on Thursday.
Great. So
make sure to follow that, and yeah, post any questions below that you have for next week, and we'll start to answer the good, the bad, and the ugly of breastfeeding. And that includes nursing, pumping, you name it. So thank you so much. Again, do not forget to click the link below to get your free starter pack from Kiinde, completely free, and we'll get that sent out to you. Again, thank you for your time and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.